Kia ora, we are Team 57, a business analysis team engaged to evaluate Auckland Airport's ethical and environmental performance. I'm Arif, and I'll be guiding you through our key findings and recommendations. Our presentation begins with an analysis of Auckland Airport's compliance approach, followed by a comparison with its ethical culture. We then introduce internal carbon pricing, showing how it could be improve investment decisions, manage climate risks, and guide long-term strategy. We'll wrap up with a discussion on the airport's legal obligations versus its voluntary climate actions, and finally, a clear recommendation on how to lead in the low-carbon aviation space. Auckland Airport is the country's largest getaway and vital contributor to tourism, commerce, and global connectivity, but its high carbon profile places it at the center of growing climate and regulatory pressures. As your consulted team, we have analyzed the airport's approach to business ethics and its readiness to adopt internal carbon pricing.
Let's begin by looking at the compliance approach as defined by Thompson, Strickland, and Gamble. This approach is grounded in clear enforceable rules. It involves formal codes of conduct, legal and policy based systems, audits, and disciplinary processes designed to guide and control employee behavior. The focus is on preventing violations by making ethical expectations explicit and enforceable. Within the New Zealand context, this means ensuring staff operate within both corporate policy and national law. Ultimately, this approach helps reduce legal exposure, maintain accountability, and protect the organization from reputational harm. It's about setting the baseline, creating a structure where ethical compliance is non negotiable. Auckland Airport has applied this compliance approach in multiple ways. First, it publishes a detailed code of conduct every 2 years, outlining expectations around integrity, anti bribery, and responsible behavior. The Audit and Risk Committee ensures that these policies are followed with oversight from the Board of Directors. Finally, all employees are also required to do an annual ethics declaration, which reinforces their understanding and commitment to the policy. These are hallmarks of a compliance led ethics system, focusing on minimizing risk through enforceable standards, and this reflects a classic compliance approach, which Thompson defines as designed to prevent, detect, and punish legal violations.
In contrast to the compliance approach, which emphasizes adherence to rules and legal obligations, the ethical culture approach encourages organizations to go beyond minimum requirements. This approach can be defined by four key components. Firstly, it's the integration of ethics into operations, where ethical considerations shape everyday operations and decision making. The reinforcement of shared values and accountability, meaning ethical responsibility is distributed across all levels of the organization. Support for ethical staff behavior, which includes maintaining a workplace culture that encourages fairness, respect, inclusion, and transparency. And lastly, leadership and open dialogue, where ethical behavior is modeled by leaders and open conversations are further encouraged. At Auckland Airport, these principles are reflected in several of their key initiatives. Firstly, the organization has established proactive strategies that reflect a genuine commitment to ethics, including sustained engagement with multi values and sustainability planning. The airport has also built a strong biosecurity culture where staff take responsibility for protecting people and the environment. Core values like integrity and care are embedded into performance reviews, leadership expectations, and communications, reinforcing a shared sense of responsibility at all levels. Finally, company activity promotes diversity, inclusivity, and workplace safety, encouraging open communication and accessibility for all staff. While the compliance approach is rules based and focused on legal obligations, the ethical culture approach is proactive, value driven, and promotes moral responsibility. Despite the differences, both enhance accountability and strengthen organizational reputation. Auckland Airport demonstrates both approaches through transparent reporting, strong risk management policies, and by embedding ethical values into its strategy. So while compliance sets the baseline, ethical culture drives continuous improvement.
To improve decision making, companies can use internal carbon pricing, which puts a dollar value on emissions to guide choices. When it comes to new investment decisions, Auckland Airport is already making progress by investing in rooftop solar arrays and upgrading terminals with electric ground power units to reduce fuel burn. These initiatives show a real commitment to decarbonisation. However, the airport doesn't currently apply an internal carbon price when evaluating these projects. As Audi and Geofrat suggest, adopting internal carbon pricing would improve future investment decisions by pricing emissions, ensuring that climate-aligned projects also make financial sense. Now, looking at risk management, Auckland Airport has done well in identifying climate-related risks like extreme weather and regulatory changes. But right now, those risks aren't tied to a dollar value. By introducing internal carbon pricing, the airport would be able to put a price on emission related risks, making them more tangible. As Audi and GM France highlight, this helps turn climate uncertainty into something the company can plan for and actively manage. Now, looking ahead, when it comes to long term strategy decisions, Auckland Airport has set strong long term goals such as reaching net zero for Scope 1 and 2 emissions by 2030, as well as becoming carbon regulation ready by 2040. But without a carbon price, it's hard to implement these goals into everyday decisions. This is as internal carbon pricing would help align strategy with climate targets by making carbon costs part of the long term planning. As Aldi and Geofrat explain, it creates a financial signal that guides strategy whilst also future proofing the business.
For illegal compliance operations, Auckland Airport emphasizes safety and environmental responsibility. They ensure staff and train and follow NZETS. They manage assignment and noise through resource consent. Workplace health and safety are extremely enforced. All weekly record discourse are made. For beyond compliance, Auckland Airport is taking some prevention actions, include cutting declared emissions by 19% by 2030 and research net zero by 2050, buying 100% renewable energy and use it to operation. It's a new project like the Transport Hub and Manuma Bay, have green features such as solar power. They also work on airline to reduce emission, even though it's not regularly recruit and building a greener future for aviation.
Auckland Airport faces both global travel demands and rising climate risks. To stay competitive, it must go beyond compliance and make sustainability part of its core strategy. Internal carbon pricing gives climate risk financial weight, guiding smarter investments and preparing for future regulation. By aligning compliance, culture, and tools like ICP, the airport can turn risk into opportunity. Climate action isn't just a cost, it builds trust, attracts capital, and drives long term performance.